What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we're going to take a look and a listen to Representative Larsson. He was just on the House floor a few days ago talking about the Social Security 2100 Act, talking about expanding Social Security. So we're going to talk about that. And then at the very end of this video, I have an announcement to make. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification, clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I'm going to show you this clip, but before I do, I want to address something. Every time I post clips and you have these different lawmakers talking about Social Security reform, talking about an expansion to Social Security, I have people in the comments that will say, and this is just some people, not most people are saying, yes, this is good, but some people are saying, one, it'll never happen, and two, why are they just talking about this? Why are you talking about it, and why are they just talking about it? Well, there's a process, and we know there's a process. And when it comes to lawmakers, if you don't know how things are done in Washington, D.C., they need pressure in order to move forward with legislation. That's just the way that it is. And so if you're watching these videos, one of the reasons why I like showing you that you have lawmakers that are in favor of expanding Social Security is because I want you to reach out to those lawmakers as well as the people that are representing you. Because if you reach out to these people and you tell these lawmakers, look, I heard that Social Security 2100 Act provides this and provides that. I heard that they're talking about expanding Social Security. How do you feel about that? You're applying pressure to your representatives. You apply enough pressure to your representatives, and guess what? They're going to have to start acting, because if they don't act, they're going to lose their job. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm putting this information out to you guys. I want you guys to know what's going on in Congress, to know what some of these lawmakers are talking about. When it comes to the positives and the negatives, you have some lawmakers that are still talking about cutting Social Security, and they're very serious about it. And so you need to apply pressure. It's our job to apply pressure. Just like if you were in a job and you had a boss, it's your boss's job to apply a little bit of pressure to get you to work. Because if you're not working and your supervisor's not applying pressure, you're just going to continue not working. And so that's why it's up to us. If we want to see something move forward, it's up to us to get that to move forward. And we have to know what's on the table. And that's why I like to provide these videos, because they're showing you what's on the table. We've been talking about the Social Security 2100 Act for the last 2-3 years. It's on the table, but in order for it to get across the goal line, guess what? We need to help it get across the goal line. We need to apply pressure when it comes to lawmakers. And now is the perfect time to apply pressure. Why? Because we're in an election year, and everyone in the House of Representatives is running for re-election. And so this is the perfect time for us to get out there, send them letters, go to the town halls, and tell them, look, you need to do something about Social Security now. If we just sit on our hands and don't say anything and just say, I'll believe it when it happens, I'll believe it when I see it, then guess what? You're never going to see it, because those lawmakers aren't going to move forward unless they have pressure. That's why they always set these deadlines. They always set these deadlines when it comes to government shutdowns and all this stuff. They set these deadlines because they're not going to move unless there's pressure, unless they see, okay, well, if we don't move forward with something, then we're going to see a government shutdown. Or if we don't move forward with something, then we might lose our job. So that's why we have to apply pressure. And so I just wanted to say that before I show this clip. So we'll take a look and a listen to Representative Larsson. Here we go.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to speak about the nation's #1 insurance program, Social Security. It has been that way since Franklin Delano Roosevelt first introduced it, and continues to be the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly, and frankly, Madam Speaker, the #1 anti-poverty program for children. And yet Congress has been derelict in its duty. There has not been a vote to enhance Social Security since 1971. Richard Nixon was President of the United States. As we speak today, there are close to 70 million Americans who rely on Social Security. Of those 70 million, it's important to understand that 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. More than 5 million of our fellow Americans have worked and paid into a system and get below poverty level checks from their government, the wealthiest in the world, with the nation's #1 anti-poverty program that this body has not acted on in more than 50 years. It's long overdue that we take the initiative and have a vote in the United States Congress that will help the American people. Social Security is bedrock. And whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you understand this. Now, our colleagues on the other side have put forward something they call a study commission. We don't need to study Social Security. We know what needs to be done. But to have a study that goes behind closed doors, has an up or down vote that's unamendable, with no input from this body, is absurd and anti-democratic and anti-elderly and children from the standpoint of the havoc that it would wreak on this system. The idea that they're doing this to save Social Security is a fallacy. They're doing it so they can go behind closed doors and cut the very program that sustains so many Americans. More than 40% of all Americans who are on Social Security, this is the only pension benefit that they will have. And Madam Speaker, you know as well as I that it's not only a pension benefit, it's a disability benefit, as well as taking care of spouses and children. And imagine, for our viewers in the audience, Congress hasn't taken a vote in more than 50 years for the nation's #1 anti-poverty program. It's long overdue that we not study this. How about we do what we're elected to do by the public and actually vote? And if you got a better idea, put it out there. But we believe this as well. I commend President Biden for saying, and look, the way that we're going to pay for this is to lift the cap, or what's called scrap the cap, on people making over $400,000. This past month marked that millionaires have already stopped paying into the Social Security program. Bill Gates stopped paying back in January. That is wrong, it's not right, but to lift that cap will allow us not only to extend the solvency of Social Security, but increase benefits across the board for its members, to make sure that WEP and GPO, which have hurt teachers and municipal employees over the year, is finally scrapped. To have in there a tax cut for more than 23 million Americans who continue to pay taxes on their Social Security, and to make sure that everyone's benefits are enhanced. And where does that money go, Madam Speaker? The money from Social Security goes right back into every single congressional district, and it allows those individuals in that district to sustain themselves. Nobody's going out and buying stock options with Social Security 2100. And with that, Madam Speaker, I yield back my time and thank you.
Okay, so that was Representative Larsson once again talking about the Social Security 2100 Act. One thing that I noticed while watching this video is he didn't look at his notes at all. So he's been talking about this since 2014. He's been talking about it for a very long time. And all he is asking for is a vote. And so what I would say to everyone out there watching this video, as well as I'm going to be reaching out, I've reached out already to my congressperson, but I'm going to reach out again right before the election, but ask them for a vote. Vote on Social Security reform and see what their response is, because that needs to happen. That over 50 years, they haven't even addressed this. Over 50 years, they haven't voted for any type of reform for Social Security. We know we only have 10 more years left. In 10 years, the trust fund will run out of money. That means across the board about a 23% cut. And so all around, this is not going to be good for people receiving Social Security benefits right now, as well as Gen Xers, who at that time in 10 years, you're going to have Gen Xers that are going to be retiring. Some might retire a little bit earlier than that if they want to take retirement at 62. And so it's important that we reach out to our congresspeople right now to let them know that something needs to happen when it comes to Social Security reform. Okay, so the announcement that I want to make is I will be doing a live stream later today. It'll be at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. And let me show you guys, this is just a thumbnail that I have here, but I want to show you some of the things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be watching the State of the Union address. We'll watch the entire State of the Union address. And so there are going to be several topics that we know they'll be talking about in the State of the Union address. So immigration will be one of them. Social Security will be another one. The economy as a whole, that will be one. Inflation, how is inflation? As well as the election for 2024. Now, you might not hear too much talk about the election, but I would anticipate that we're going to have President Biden is going to talk a little bit about former President Trump due to the fact that yesterday, former President Trump solidified his nomination for president. So you're going to hear some back and forth. Of course, President Biden will probably say something. Former President Trump is probably going to be live tweeting while we're watching the State of the Union address. So it should be a good time. I also want you guys to let me know what you think. So as we're watching the State of the Union address, you'll be able to get in the chat and let me know how you're feeling about certain issues or some of the things that might be missed. So we'll talk about it. And then after the State of the Union, we'll do some more Q&A and we'll talk about what we learned in the State of the Union address and how we think President Biden did in the State of the Union address. So make sure you guys stop by. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. I'll also have a link to the live stream. So there'll be a link. So you click on the link. It'll take you over to the thumbnail, and then you can just click notify me, and then you'll get notified when I go live later this afternoon. So 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, we'll be live. We'll be talking about the State of the Union address and then watching it together. Talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.